answer this question for me. You cannot get hired at any of the companies run by a Fortune 500 CEO if you're a convicted felon. And that should be it. Why are they, what would it take? Why is it, if they really don't want to see Trump as America's next president for all the reasons you both articulated over the next 23 minutes, why aren't they fighting like their businesses depend on the reelection of Joe Biden?
These days, you couldn't lead a trade union. There was one trade union where 6 former presidents were imprisoned. These days, you couldn't lead a trade union. You couldn't take over a neighborhood church as a minister if you had the same record. Where are those voices, Nicole? I can't think of any voice in society that, other than politicians, that have spoken out more than CEOs. Certainly not the clergy, certainly not the trade unions, certainly not community activists, certainly not the all the people who control these companies. Their owners are 90% owned by employee pensions. Who's spoken out? We did Harley Davidson, Disney, Coca-Cola, Delta, Ford, General Motors. These icons of American enterprise have suffered repercussions from Trump's reprisals for having spoken out, but they still speak out when they need to. But they are owned, they're hired hands that run those companies. And if those stakeholders don't support them, it's pretty hard. But companies like, Apple, Microsoft, Salesforce, and others, they hold their ground, Dell and things, on the important social issues. They've been very courageous. And as an aside, these companies, which are condemned as being woke, dramatically outperform any of the alt-right economy. These companies like Truth Social or Ramaswamy's companies or Getter social networks for dating, or the American Social Values Fund, or things, they dramatically outperformed them. In fact, those companies perform terribly. These companies do well and do good. They believe they're not antithetical, but they can't do it alone.
Donnie, help bridge the gap. I mean, I hear what Jeffrey's saying. I understand they have shareholders, they have bosses. They also have workforces who include a whole lot of women whose lives would be in danger if Trump is reelected and the Supreme Court becomes even more extreme. I mean, when does the tipping point come when they do become more visible public actors, if ever, between now and November?
Let me give you the hardened answer, and then let me give you the hopeful answer. The hardened answer, and you guys are touching on it, is they have one job, whether we like it or not, that's to increase shareholder value. And unfortunately, in this polarized world right now, when you come out on one side, if you are selling anything mass, and anybody in these Fortune 50 or Fortune 500 companies are in the business of selling to the masses, you're choosing a side and you're alienating another side. And that's just an unfortunate reality. And interesting, you saw Jamie Dimon a month or two ago say, Trump did a couple of good things and he got all kinds of hell. And then he came out and said, well, we have to have a democracy. We can't have a dictatorship. I don't remember his exact words, but he kind of covered his tracks.
Yeah.
It's very tough. Having said that, though, this is a very different moment in time. And the same way I've said, the military has to act differently, the news media has to act differently, the clergy has to act differently, and CEOs, there is a call to action. They are some of the leaders in our world, and our world will not be as we know it, and as we've come used to it, and as we take it for granted if Donald Trump is elected. So I think CEOs do have to step out of their comfort zone. Yes, they have to look at their shareholder value, but they have to look at the U.S. value also. And the corporation, that is the USA, will be damaged in many, many, many ways if Donald Trump is the president.
And the names that we see that are floated around as if they were CEOs, David Sack, I don't know what he has in his sack. It's not as much money as people think. And this guy, Timothy Mellon, we have good melons. We have rotten melons. I don't know what kind of melon this melon is, but he's not his father. He's not his grandfather. He's not his great-grandfather or his great-great-grandfather, who's the one who created the wealth that he contributes to Republican candidates. That's the Mellon who created, Mellon Bank and Gulf Oil and Alcoa. This guy is a wealthy heir, and these are the people that are sending the money to MAGA, that and individual donors. But it's mainly a handful of very wealthy people. It's not CEOs. But when we had the uncertainty over the election transition, it was not religious leaders. It was not any public officials across the board that spoke out to condemn what Trump was trying to do. It was the CEO community was the largest and most vocal. In the Edelman Trust surveys, you see that every sector of society, including academia, the media, the clergy, and the rest, have plummeted. Only the CEOs have been ascendant. Despite all the corruption scandals and governance problems of the earlier part of this millennia, is the CEOs are the most trusted voice in society. And they speak out when they need to. But boy, it sure would be nice if they're not the only ones as they get out on a limb, and they get in a lot of trouble because you have a lot of red state pension holders that want them fired for speaking out and that control their companies.
Look, I appreciate, Donnie, understanding the fraught nature of this for CEOs, but I do think this is that moment, right? This is the moment to maybe put everything on the line. We're asking the military to do that. I mean, generals don't want to tell people who to vote for, and there are a lot of, not Mattis and not Kelly and not Milley, but there are a lot of people who spent their lives nonpartisan, committed to nonpartisanship. Sue Gordon is out there. Mary McCord is out there. There are a lot of people who spent their lives walking the same walk that a CEO is trying to walk for different reasons. And I'll leave it to the viewer to decide, which is, better or worse. But I guess my point is this is that moment. This is that moment to maybe get fired, to say, Nicole, I can't lead a company if we lose our democracy. This is that moment. And I wonder, Donnie, really quick, do you think any of them will do something even more brave?
I do think you will have some CEOs speaking out. It is, look, there are heroes in every generation. There are heroes in every category. There are heroes in every occupational field. And I do believe there will be some CEOs. These are some of the smartest people in the world. And I beg them, please speak out. You know better. Most of you know better. You know the truth about Donald Trump as a human and as a business person. And just, come on, put it on the line. That's where you get the big bucks.
And Reverend Trevin just agreed with me yesterday. We could hear from the clergy more, too. And we could have people join Admiral William Raven and Admiral Mark and General Mark Milley. You're so right, Nicole. Where are those retired military joining the handful that have spoken out? We need to hear it from the rest of the retired military as well.
If you watch this program, we call on them every single day. I really appreciate this conversation. Jeffrey and Donnie, thank you so much for spending time with us. To be continued. When we come back, Judge Juan Merchan today partially lifting the gag order placed